good morning. Welcome to breakfast. I'm Lynlee. Now, building a business as a couple while building a marriage and a family at the same time requires extraordinary devotion and teamwork. One of the famous couples we know is Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla. They work together on the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, a philanthropic organization that was founded in 2015 to help eradicate disease, among other causes. In an interview last August, Zuckerberg said working with his wife has opened up a whole new side of our relationship, he says. So, what are the pros and cons of working together in the same business or company as spouses? On Mind Your Business today, we have invited a C suite couple of an end to end cloud solutions provider, trusted by over 50 Singapore government agencies such as GovTech, NEA, and MES. Let's find out how they are making it work, both on a personal and a professional level. They are Denise Kee, Chief Executive Officer of Xtremax, and James Leong, Chief Technology Officer of Xtremax. And they are also winner of the Cyber Security Award at the SBR Technology Excellence Awards 2022. Denise, welcome to the show.
Hello, Lynlee. Thank you for having me.
Very
Very
good
good to
morning
be
to
here.
you.
Good
Now, let's also
morning.
welcome James. Hi, James.
Hello, hi. Very happy to see you, Lynn.
Thank you very much. Now, let's start with Denise. Before we delve into the main topic of our conversation, tell us a little bit about your background. We know that you were a journalist.
Haha, okay. Well, I'm a CEO of Xtremax now, but of course, I spent a very large part of my life right involved in tech. But then, wow, you dig into my past and you found out that in my past life, I'm actually a journalist reporting on like the debt capital markets. So I would call myself an unexpected CEO of Xtremax. It's quite a twist of fate that I transitioned from being a journalist to where I am now, right now.
So tell us about that transition from the newsroom to the boardroom. I'm sure that you took on several roles before you became the CEO. How did you prepare yourself for that?
Well, as a journalist, just like you, then you are a content. You are in the content industry. So as a journalist, right, I'm actually a chaser of truth, and so my
Mhm.
reports affect individual understanding. But as a CEO of Xtremax, right, my decisions now influence a larger organization. It impacts a number of people's life, right, that is very
Mm.
significant to me and more dear to me. So, but however, I think that the core driver of both jobs remains very unchanged. It is really the quest for clarity and impact.
Mm. Did you have any concerns about working closely with James, your husband, effectively spending almost every hour of the day together?
Okay, so to be honest, the initial years, right, I really feel like I'm in a three-legged sack race. So the notion of working together, right, initially seems very romantic. So I thought it's going to be like pak tor day every day. But we are so exposed to so much of each other. It was really very trying. So, but
Mm.
luckily for me and also for us, right, we are both for the success of the company. So we share the same goals. But more
Ah.
importantly, right, we are also very guided by the same set of values that determines our means to get there. So,
Mm.
so even though it's very trying, but because we want the same thing, we are guided by the same set of values, and because of that, right, we reach consensus very quickly on the more important things in the company. Okay, so when I think about maybe life, relationship, work, I think of them in compound interest. So you need
Mhm.
to stay in anything long enough for the compound interest to really work and to give you that enormous ROI. So I would say that now I'm reaping the rewards of that compound interest in this partnership with James.
Wonderful. Now let's bring James into the conversation. James, you founded Extreme Max in 2003. For our listeners, tell us, how did that name come about? Extreme Max is spelled with two X's, one, on each end of the name, Extreme Max. How did that come about?
Yeah, so I started the company just 1 year, after graduation. Now, at that time and even right now, the world is always changing, and things are moving really, really fast. And one of the things that I felt that I wanted to bring to this world is the idea of agility.
Mm.
At that time, there was this really popular agile development framework called extreme programming.
Oh.
And being young, I was saying, we are always more extreme. So I said, hey, let's call this Xtremax. But core behind the concept of Xtremax is really the idea of agility and
Mm.
constantly learning from failure.
Did you ever envision that one day it will be helmed by both you and your wife?
Oh, oh, definitely not. I actually started with an amazingly intelligent Indonesian partner. He codes better than me, a much technical person, more technical person than me. But I realized after some time, that besides coding, someone need to get to the business, right? And it turns out that having a partner who is the relentless chaser of truth is also great because you need someone to relentlessly find the business. Yeah, so I think it worked out well for me.
Okay, James, like any couple, conflicts and disagreements are inevitable, especially when working at the C level, the highest level. How do you address and resolve work related conflicts? Is the approach similar when it comes to conflicts at home?
Um, I think I learned over many years of my life, right? This fundamental truth that happy wife means happy life.
Happy life.
Yeah, there's nothing more important than that. but like what Denise say, right? I think that the thing about it is that we are both highly aligned in the concept, of building a company, the best business for the long term. And once we are very aligned with the objective, right? The rest of the very subjective decision, what
Mhm,
we do is that we are aligned in one direction. We
mhm.
try, doesn't work out, we pivot fast. And that
Okay.
is how we've been running the last 20 years of our life. There's a certain direction, there's a lot of alternatives. Yeah, you can do A, B, C, and these are all subjective choices, but the important thing is that we take the best chance of this, and we try. Doesn't work,
Okay.
pivot fast.
I'm going to be fair to Denise. Denise, and your take on
Mm.
this? How do you address, and resolve work-related conflicts? Do you agree
Uh,
with James?
yes, because we're very aligned, right? In this show, I do agree with them. No, it's just that sometimes, right, when you run a company and you're in a leadership position, or you're just like doing stuff in your life, right? I'm always afraid that my friends or the people around me, especially when you're in a leadership position, right, you
Mhm.
might surround yourself with people who are mostly in agreement with you
Mm.
because they might just want to encourage you, or they just want to be in the relationship so that they can have more opportunities to work with you. So in that sense, right, I'm always very aware that sometimes I might be in the midst of a community of disillusion. But
Mm.
because I work with James and because we work so tightly with each other, we understand each other's strength, and we are not afraid to just say in each other's face, hey, this is not right, and really challenge each other. So out of that conflicts, we find a way to work together. And I would think that it is very fortunate for me that it's not just at work, because we
Mhm.
understand each other so well now. We also like it worked very well for us, whether it is like in Xtremax or guiding our kids' education or growth and personal finances. So that compound interest thing that I talked about earlier, right? It really is giving me returns are very, very good.
Okay, we're in conversation with Denise Kee, Chief Executive Officer of Xtremax, and James Leong, Chief Technology Officer of Xtremax. Here's a question to both of you. Mark Zuckerberg said working with his wife has opened up a whole new side of their relationship. Do you have the same experience, Denise?
Yes, definitely. So I said that I was in the three-legged race. That's because, right, if you have a husband, you only know him in your personal and family life. But in a work space, you really exposed to another side of the person. So many people actually go through their life, right, not knowing how their husband will be like at work, but
Mhm.
I know him 360 degrees all around. Just know him in and out. So, but then again, I go back to because we understand each other very well, and there's a huge synergy like I got out of this relationship with him. Yeah.
What about you, James?
Um, I definitely understand my wife very well. Yes, yes, and to me, suddenly, working together with my wife, I tend to understand a little bit more about what is work life integration, and it's all about finding out how we can synergize better together, not just work but also family. Yeah. That's one of the most important things I've learned over the many years.
Okay, I'm going to talk about your employees or staff. How do they actually work with a C-suite couple?
I think for James and I, right, we've both been very transparent. We share our thoughts with many.
Mhm.
Whoever who come to us, right, they will ask us, hey, what's your plan for Xtremax? What you think and all that. And also, we will just share very openly because we wanted that very open culture in the company, and so that they know exactly why we do things in a certain way, and why we are going this direction. And on
Mm.
the other side of that, right, why we want to be transparent is also because we want everyone in the company to actually challenge us. So I talk about
Mm.
this community of like this illusion, right? And I don't want to encourage that. I want them to, hey, if you don't think this is a great idea, please come up to us
Mm.
and please tell us what you think. And we'll sit down and just listen to the person and maybe sometimes, right, debate with them. No, I don't think this is good. And they will see that, right, we try very hard to be transparent. We take
Mm,
their opinion into consideration and we actually
mm,
work on it. And so, and then I think for most of them, I would say that they will think that they have a very open relationship with us, and both of us are very open. So I'm not sure, James, what you think?
No, I totally agree with that. And we're actually very influenced by this Ray Dalio, and he was talking about
Ah.
how we could have a group of people that we have share this mission with a group of extraordinary people who can be radically truthful and radically transparent. And we totally believe in that. The world is a jungle. You need to be
Mm.
have this group of trusted people that we can work together in a radically truthful and radically transparent way.
Okay, James, this year marks the
Mm.
20th year, 20th anniversary of Xtremax. What are the key lessons you've learned coming out of the pandemic?
Well, I've been learning things continuously. And for the pandemic, definitely one of the biggest transition for me and for the company, I would believe, is hybrid work. Yeah. And how we see this, and how we experience it in Xtremax is that actually as part of this hybrid work initiative, and surprisingly, all of us would be thinking that it's going to be less effective, it's going to be slower, but for us, I find it has actually unleashed tremendous opportunity, not just in our well-being or family life and things like that, but even in productivity. I would say that now our company, a lot of us are highly productive and able to collaborate much more successfully together lah. Yeah, so hybrid work is one of the biggest challenge, and we are still learning. Even today, before I joined this session, I was someone was telling me, "Hey, James, your head must be a little bit higher, a little bit to the left, a little bit." I was like, so there's an optimal way, right, that you can actually frame yourself in this
Mm.
in this video. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
And yourself, Denise?
Well, because of the pandemic, I do so much of video conferencing that I feel like I potentially can be a YouTube star. Go do podcast on the YouTube. But okay, okay. Joke aside, the truth is that I think I learned that trust is really important as we go into a very hybrid work environment.
Mhm.
Not just with our staff, but also with our customers. We want to share more about really what we think about a certain project and why we are taking on certain projects and why we work in a certain way. And so that, right, we can all go off and trust that we are all aligned on the same goals and
Mm.
that you will go away and do things according to what we have set forth. And so I find that from the pandemic, after the pandemic, right, there is this growing need for trust, and
Mm.
there is also there's a greater need, and also we tend to work trusting each other more now. So
Mm.
it's a very very good change, even though pandemic has not been good to us, but then but it created an environment of trust.
Denise, I know you guys expanded last year to Australia. What else
Correct.
is in the pipeline for Xtremax?
Interesting question, and also a very deep question. But I would like to speak briefly about Xtremax's unique positioning to answer that question in context. So
Mm-hmm.
Xtremax offers cloud solutions. So when
Mm-hmm.
Singapore government say that, hey, I want to go to cloud, they choose Xtremax, a local Singapore homegrown company. And we built two of the biggest cloud platforms, one to host the government websites, about 500 odd of them, and then the other one to host actually 70% of all the applications of the government. So when I
Mm-hmm.
look back and I try to understand, hey, why did they choose us? Why did they choose a local small company? I think it is because, right, we piece together the different cloud technology to
Mm-hmm.
form a very unique platform product. So when I look back in our history and I realize, hey, actually, that is really our strength and our ability to be able to innovate at the edge. So in that sense, right, I find that we are quite similar to Apple.
Mm-hmm.
They produce this very powerful product lah, as we know
Okay.
it is the iPhone.
Yep.
And when you really look into the technology behind that particular iPhone, you'll find that there are actually four core technologies. But all the four core technologies, they don't own the IP. It's actually innovations for other people. But it's just how they actually put everything together to form a very powerful product that really changed the way that we work and live. And so, in that sense, Xtremax is very similar to that concept of innovation at the edge that we
Mm-hmm.
glue together of many different cloud technology to form a very unique product. So in the pipeline for us, right, I see that we are going to do more of that to
Mm-hmm.
innovate on the cloud platforms, piecing things together. So in the product platform pipeline, right, we are going to launch like Cloud Vanti 2.0, which is one of the products where we allow organizations and governments to host their website securely. Not just that, we are also doing the Sentry page, which is the one that you talk about, the award-winning cybersecurity product.
Oh,
And we
okay.
are also launching a health collaboration platform to allow nurses and doctors and everybody in the hospitals to work better together, especially in the post pandemic
Mm,
world.
mm, mm.
So I noticed that in our pipeline we are gearing towards that and really tapping on our strength of innovation at the edge. But of course,
Oh,
right, the region wise, Australia, Malaysia, uh, and maybe Thailand are all in our pipeline.
all right. Thank you very much, Denise and James, for sharing your inspiring story with us. We've been speaking with a Power C-suite couple, Denise Kee, Chief Executive Officer of Xtremax, and James Leong, Chief Technology Officer of Xtremax. Thank you very much, guys.
Money FM 89.3.